And joining us this morning is Representative Joel Chua, Manila 3rd District Representative, to help us weigh in on all these developments. Good morning, Congressman. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Hi, good morning, Pawi, and good morning to all your televiewers.
Okay, so yesterday, napanood naman po natin lahat, Congressman, na-dismiss na ang dalawang impeachment complaints against President Bongbong Marcos. But I wanted to ask you personally first, Congressman, wala po ba talagang kahit anong allegation or ground that met the sufficiency in substance?
Well, unang-una, Pawi, we should look at the guidelines set by the rules, by the House rules. Nandito po yung nakalagay po dito, how to determine sufficiency in substance. Sabi po dito, the requirement of substance is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense charge. Now, if we will read Section 3 of the same rules, sabi po dito, an impeachment complaint is verified by an affidavit that the complainant has read the complaint and that the allegations therein are true and correct of his personal knowledge or based on authentic record. So meaning to say, the recital of facts, the offense charge must be based on, number one, his personal knowledge, or number two, based on authentic records. So let us check all the allegations charged against the president. Yung unang-una po, sabi po nila that the president established the so-called baseline balance management parametric formula. And
BBM
according to
formula.
ito po yung naging basis, kaya po in-institutionalize yung systematic scheme of corruption. Well, obviously, ito pong allegation po nila is purely speculative dahil wala naman po silang in-attach dito na basis para paano po nila masasabi na ito pong formulang to ginamit para po dito gamitin to for systematic scheme of corruption. Yung number 2 allegations po nila, yung unprogrammed appropriation, again, if you will check the chart, sabi po nila that the president betrayed public trust by abusing his constitutional and statutory discretion. So dito po ina-admit naman po nila na this unprogrammed appropriation, the sole authority to release the unprogrammed appropriation is based on statute and based on our constitution. So ibig sabihin, prerogative po yan ng ating Pangulo. So dito po kasi mag-a-apply po yung tinatawag nating Doctrine of Operative Facts. Ano po yung Doctrine of Operative Facts? Hindi po niya po pwedeng panagutin ng isang bagay na hindi pa naman po ito krimen. And for now, hindi pa naman po sinasabi ng ating korte o kahit na anong batas na ito pong unprogrammed appropriation ay unconstitutional or illegal. Because if that is the case, then lahat po ng mga naging presidente, dahil since 1989, lahat po ng administrasyon, meron pong unprogrammed appropriation. And in fact, during the time of former President Pinoy, if you will remember, the Supreme Court even declared the DAP as unconstitutional. But hindi po ibig sabihin na dineklara yung DAP na unconstitutional. Ibig sabihin po nun, may betrayal of public trust na yung dating presidente. Dahil during that time when DAP was implemented, hindi pa naman po ito illegal. Now, dito po sa pangatlo, meron po silang sinasabi dito, direct personal involvement in budgetary insertion in kickback. Tatlo po dito yung kanilang ginamit na direct evidence. Number 1, yung kay Cabral Files. Obviously, the only way or the only person who can authenticate the Cabral Files is Yusek Cabral herself. Hindi na po mangyayari yun dahil patay na po. Pangalawa, yung testimony po ni Yusek Bernardo. Si Yusek Bernardo po, wala naman po sa kanyang testimony na sinasabi niya na nakapag-deliver siya ng pera directly to the president. Pangatlo, dito po sa Saldico Confession, again, dito po, maliwanag naman po sa aming rules na kailangan it has to be meron pong personal knowledge at authentic record. Obviously, yung video record po ni Congressman Saldico is not authenticated at wala naman po sila sinubmit na affidavit. So,
Authentication.
affidavit from Saldico. So, without all this, hindi po ito papasa sa tinatawag po natin sufficiency in substance.
So what should the complainants have done, Congressman? Kasi baka naman hindi rin nila alam na ganito ka masalimuot yung proseso even in determining sufficiency in substance. Because doon nga sa rules, naka-state po personal knowledge and authentic records. But apparently, for the committee, it doesn't meet those standards. I understand, kaya rin po grabe yung pag-scrutinize. Tama po ba, Kong? Kasi kayo rin, in the end, ang magiging prosecutors ng impeachment complaint if ever this goes to trial sa Senado. Kaya po ba ganoon kataas yung threshold ng hinahanap nyo pong mga recital of facts?
Hindi naman po ganun kataas yung hinahanap namin because that is what is under the rules of impeachment. House rules po yan eh. And this House rules was not, hindi naman po yung kahapon lang ginawa. Ito po yung we are guided by this House rules since time immemorial. Kaya ito lamang po ay binabase lamang po namin sa determination ng sufficiency in form and substance. Now, I would like to compare this to the previous impeachment complaint that we filed against the Vice President, if you will allow me. Kung titingnan po natin yung dati, yung pinail po namin, bakit po natin sasabihin sufficient in form and sufficient in substance? For one, kung makikita po ninyo, yung mga sinubmit po doon, may mga authentic document po yun coming from the COA. May mga report po yun galing from the COA. May mga dokumento po na naka-attach po doon na authenticated. At may mga personal knowledge, like for example po, yung threat po niya, lahat naman po tayo nakasaksi po nito. So, yung po makikita po natin, doon po talaga pumapasok dito po sa sinasabi natin na may personal knowledge and based on authentic records.
But do you agree, Congressman, na siguro pwedeng magdagdag na lang ng provision sa rules explaining what counts as authentic records, personal knowledge, para mas maging specific, para hindi na rin nagsasayang ng oras yung mga complainant in preparing their impeachment complaints?
Well, maliwanag naman eh. Hindi naman kailangan ng idagdag pa sa rules eh. Dahil ang linaw-linaw, nandito naman po sa Section 3 namin po yan eh. In fact, alam po ninyo, the reason why we have to do this, why we have to scrutinize this, because to prevent dragging impeachment complaint na sa dulo naman pala, wala rin naman palang kahihinatnan. Look, these are all high-ranking government officials. Could you imagine dragging the impeachment complaint of the President, pahabain po natin? Ano po mangyayari niyan? Ano po magiging epekto niyan? That is bad for our economy. That will affect the economy of our country. Sino po bang mamumuhunan ang gustong maglagak ng kanilang investment dito kung ang ating bansa po ay magulo?
Okay, pero sinabi po ni Congresswoman Jerby Luistro that the complaints are technically not dead yet since the committee report will need to go to plenary, but this could still be overridden by a one-third vote. Pero kayo po ba, Congressman, do you still see this getting reversed in plenary o this is practically dead in the water?
Well, matagal pa, mahirap pong mag-conclude because we have more than 300 congressmen. So right now, ang mga bumoto lamang po dito, mga nasa more than 40. So that is not even one-third. But the way I see it and the way we discuss it during the committee hearing, lahat naman po, everyone of us, we were given the opportunity to air our our legal point of view. So, tingin ko naman po, kung nakikinig po sila, if they will be listening intently sa naging debate doon sa committee hearing, sa discussion po doon, I think they will be convinced that there is lacking in there is sufficient in form but lacks in substance.
Okay, so now let's shift to the forthcoming impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte. Kong Joel, ano po ba ang latest status noon?
Well, for now, wala pa po kaming official invitation from the Committee on Justice dahil hindi pa po yata na i-refer because I think there is a different version from the first decision of the Supreme Court to the second decision of the Supreme Court insofar as the interpretation of the calendar days. So medyo nagkaroon po ng issue dyan dahil dalawa po yung magkaibang desisyon ng Supreme Court na kung saan binago po nila yung determination ng calendar days. Doon po sa unang desisyon ng Korte Suprema, sinasabi po nila dapat wala pong impeachment complaint until February 6 onwards. Pero dito po sa latest decision po ng Korte Suprema, parang sinasabi, dahil po sa bagong definition na ginawa po nila sa session days ng House, umiksi po, naging January 15. Pero since ito po yung nilabas nila, yung decision nila nung January 28, so lumalabas po, nung January 28 pa lamang, po pwede nang mag-file ng impeachment complaint.
So for you, Kong Joel, ano po ba dapat gawin in this situation? Because Kong Terry Ridon already floated the idea of waiting na lang until February 6 before daw to i-refer. I'm not sure if this is to the Speaker, to the plenary, or sa Justice Committee na mismo. But won't this raise constitutional debates once again? Baka ang complain naman ng delay in referral. Should the House wait for February 6?
Well, the best way to reconcile the first decision of the Supreme Court and the second decision of the Supreme Court is to count the 10 session days. So, hindi pa naman naglalapse yung 10 session days eh. So, siguro
So,
sa
either way,
February
safe naman.
23 pa yata. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, sa February 23 pa maglalapse yung 10 session days following the latest Supreme Court decision. So, if that is the case, so it will not be affected. Po pwede naman within that period from February 9 to February 23, saka lang ito i-refer, ilagay po sa order of business.
Okay, so in other words, safe pa rin naman po based on
Safe pa
the
naman.
new...
Wala pa, may
Oo.
oras pa naman.
Okay. Okay, so let's go now to the merits of these impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte. I know they're not officially lodged yet before the Justice Committee, pero nabanggit yun naman na Kong Joel, na yung impeachment complaint that you filed last year contains solid grounds, it's based on solid grounds. May mga authentic records to prove the allegations, notices of disallowance from COA. But one thing that was added by some of the complainants was the testimony of Ramil Madriaga. Iyon po ba ay counted as an authentic record?
Well, kung may affidavit po na i-attach po dito, that is authentic record. But for now, I still do not know kung ano po yung content ng impeachment complaint nila. I do not know if they will adopt the articles of impeachment that we filed last year or they have their new set of grounds for in the impeachment complaint. So, hindi ko pa po alam kung ano po yung nilalaman
Pareho daw, Kong. As far as the complainants revealed to media, pareho pa rin. It's bribery, graft and corruption, betrayal of public trust. Nandyan pa rin yung mga allegations ng misuse of confidential funds. So, just basing it on that, do you think mas solid itong impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte?
Well, yung last year na, solid na Kung madadagdagan pa uli ngayon ng another statement, yung ni Madriaga, with, of course, kailangan may attachment po yan ng affidavit. So, titingnan po natin kung ano po yung sasabihin ni Madriaga.
Pero Congressman, can the public expect the same scrutiny and appreciation of facts from the Justice Committee that you conducted in assessing the impeachment of President Bongbong Marcos?
Of course, lahat po ng impeachment complaint, not only the President, the Vice President, even yung mga susunod po ng mga impeachment complaint, gano'n na po yung magiging parameters ng Committee on Justice.
And are there any indications? May nakikita po ba kayong posibilidad na gamitin yung express route na tinatawag, yung filing an impeachment complaint via one-third vote in the House?
Well, yun po yung naging issue nung nakaraan, but for now, tingin ko mas maganda kung if we will choose the first mode, which is yung referral to the Committee on Justice, so that we can exhaustively deliberate on the impeachment complaint para at least po wala na pong butas na makita po.
Pero so far, wala naman po kayong naririnig over at the House of Representatives sa mga ganyang usapan, Kong Joel.
Wala pa po eh. Ako, I would not suggest na gano'n na maging sitwasyon dahil may maraming gray area dito po sa latest Supreme Court decision, which of course some of us or most of us do not agree.
Finally, Kong, kailan po ba tatalakayin or when can we expect the tackling of the impeachment of Vice President Sara, and what should the public watch out for during this entire process?
Well, we have yet to receive the referral from the plenary to the Committee on Justice. So right now, I do not know yet the timeline. So when the committee hearing will be set by the chairman of the Committee on Justice. But we can assure the public that this will be done, this will be discussed publicly. So lahat po ng media ay open for you to scrutinize, to witness kung paano po namin ito i-discuss in the same manner how we conducted the committee hearing of the impeachment complaint of the President.
All right. Well, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Congressman Joel Chua, Manila 3rd District Representative and a member of the House Justice Panel Committee. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you rin po. Maraming salamat po.